Hey there, my name's Cameron. I flip furniture. Today I have this nightstand pair that I got off Facebook Marketplace for free, and I'm going to teach you how I created these solid wood bases to elevate it and give it just a more expensive look. First things first, I just want to scrape off all this gunk. These nightstands were free, so they were, pretty dirty. They're in a little bit of rough shape, but the bones are good. So I used a scraper to scrape everything off before I cleaned it up with some spray and then sanded the rest of it. Then I just took my orbital sander and I sanded the entirety of these things. This really helps get off all that excess grime, dirt, and everything that I can't get with the scraping and the spray, as well as it adheres the spray paint that I'm going to be putting underneath the paint a little bit better. And then I also went in with some wood filler after that first round of sanding, just to fill in any gaps and holes. I also took some Bondo, mixed that together because I noticed some areas at the bottom that were missing, and I thought, wood filler is not gonna handle that as well as Bondo is. So I put some Bondo, adhered it to the bottom, and then kind of waited till that dried. Then I just sanded the rest of it. Alright, starting off that base coat with some gray spray paint. This will be our base for our paint to adhere to. Now we can start on our base. As you can see, there's no bottoms to these nightstands, so I bought two smaller pieces of plywood, and my plan is to cut them out into the shape of the bottom of the nightstands, and then through tension, place them in that slot, and then screw them in. I use the one that I just cut to make the new one. Alright, now in order to make these holes for my screws, I use my Kreg jig. This is an absolute necessity. As you can see, it comes with this drill bit that's going to be drilling the holes into our wood. There's a bunch of tutorials on this thing, but make sure that you're using the correct thickness on the Kreg jig to the thickness that your board is, and that's going to help you determine how to get a perfect drill. For these screws, I'm using 1 1/4 inch. They are the Kreg jig screws specific for these kind of holes. So you can't just use regular screws. You have to use the Kreg jig screws, and I'll show you what those look like later in the video. Now we're measuring our length and our width for our side pieces, and when you're doing that, you have to minus 3 inches from that because the width of each leg is 1.5 inches. So overall, you minus 3 inches off of each board, the front board and the 2 side boards, and I don't put a back board, by the way, so there's only 3 boards, and then you'll get your actual measurements that are gonna fit that piece eventually when you also add the legs. Here I'm cutting the front piece, which is a longer board running across the front, and marked my side pieces and cut my side pieces. And then here is what it looks like right now without the legs. I'm just gonna trace those cuts on other boards so I can copy them over to my other nightstand. This is the wood that I'm using for the legs. It's red oak, 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. I want 3 inches lengthwise, so I want my nightstand to be 3 inches off the ground. And for those front pieces, I want to get like a angled kind of look, kind of get that mid-century modern type of look. So I mark it, I use a clamp, very, very important to use a clamp, by the way, and I cut it. So you're gonna end up with 4 angled front pieces and 4 regular pieces for the back for these 2 nightstands. Then we're gonna sand all of these legs individually, make sure there's no splinters sticking out, make sure they're all smooth and ready for the gel stain. We want them looking like store quality worthy. And do the same for your planks. As you can see, because we measured correctly here, we have plenty of space here for all the legs and the planks to fit nicely on this nightstand. Here's a little look before we screw everything in. Everything fits perfectly. We got the perfect measurements, perfect dimensions on that stuff. So we're gonna use my Kreg jig again. For these planks, you're going to use the 3/4 of an inch measurement on the Kreg jig, and then you're going to insert the drill into one of the holes here and slightly lift it up, probably like 1/2 inch from the bottom, and that's going to give you the perfect depth for the hole in the plank that you're going to drill into. Here is all of the planks put together, pre-drilled before the screws are in. Here are those screws I was talking about. Now these are Kreg jig screws specifically, and we're using the 1 1/4 inch, specific for the depths of this wood. Now when you're screwing in these planks to these pieces of wood, it's really helpful to, again, use a clamp and some wood glue, and then you're gonna go in with those 1 1/4 inch screws and just put everything together. Alright, now we're going in with a dark gel stain. I like using gel stains because they penetrate the wood quick and they glide on a lot easier. Now it's time to screw in this base. We're using 1 1/4 inch screws again. Now we flip this over. We'll do the other nightstand. Boom. Now it's time to paint the top a few times. The paint I use is MelangePaints. It's an all-in-one paint, so you don't have to seal it afterwards. And the color I used was Paris Black. All right, and it's time to take pictures of these and put them on Facebook Marketplace. All right, so this is what we had before, and this is what we got after, with the red oak wood bases stained in a dark color with the black. I really like this look. I think it looks great, and I'm gonna list it on Facebook Marketplace, and hopefully I get $400 for it. So guys, if you like this video, you got something from it, you wanna make some custom wood bases, please like this video, give me a subscribe, and flip some furniture. See you guys. Bye.